Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you've been having a good week, and hope all of your Yontif preparations are going well as we look forward to Shavuos, which begins tonight. Today is day 49. We are there right at the goal. The short video Dvar Torah, which is in honor of the upcoming Chag, is sponsored by Stan Reichgott in memory of his mother, Rivka Bat Yitzchak HaKohen Aleha Shalom Kita Rebecca Reichgott, whose yahrzeit is on the second day of Shavuos. And Stan, we thank you, and it should be a zechus and an aliyah for your mother's neshama. On a regular Shabbos, when we return the Torah to the Aron after the completion of the Torah reading, we recite together, we sing Tehillim Perek Chavtet. Tehillim chapter 29 is the paragraph with the refrain of Kol Hashem, the voice of God, the sound of God, repeating over and over, Kol Hashem, Kol Hashem. And the reason why the custom developed to specifically recite this perek of Tehillim is because the Medrash understands that this perek can be read as referring to and describing Har Sinai, when also the Torah describes that it was Kol Hashem, the people, Moshe heard the voice of God, and this perek is describing the voice of God, Kol Hashem HaKoach, Kol Hashem Behadar, the voice of God in its power, in its beauty, its splendor, across the water, shattering the cedars, making the wilderness tremble. This is referring to Har Sinai. And the Medrash that understands it in this way, makes the following interesting comment. It is focused on the line Kol Hashem Bakoach, the voice of God in its power, its might. But we would have expected it to say Kol Hashem Bikocho, the voice of God in its might. What is Kol Hashem Bakoach? Literally meaning the voice of God in might, with might. It's a bit ambiguous. So the Medrash records the teaching of Rabbi Levi, who explained that it does not say Kol Hashem B'kocho, that God spoke with his might, with the total force of his voice. De'iksiv Kol Hashem B'kocho, if it would have said that, and if that would have been true, Lo haya ha'olam yachol lamod, the world would not be able to bear it, the full force of God's voice. It would obliterate the world. Ela kol Hashem b'koach. Rather, it says the voice of God with might. Well, with whose might? With how much might? If it's not his full might, his full power, then how much? The Medrash answers, b'koach shel kol echad ve'echad. The voice of God with the might of each and every person, individually, differently, separately. Each person, each Jewish person that stood at Har Sinai. Habachorim lefi kochan, the young adults, according to their strength, according to their capability, according to how much they could absorb and understand. Vazakinim lefi kochan, and the elders, according to their attributes and their qualities. V'haktanim lefi kochan, and the children, according to their own. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, God said to Israel, Lo b'shvil sheshamatem kolot harbei, tisfru and shema elokut harbei yesh b'shamayim. Don't think just because you heard many voices. Incredibly, they heard many voices. People heard the giving of the Torah, God's speech on top of Mount Sinai differently. But don't think because you heard it differently that there are different sources, different forces, different gods, chas v'shalom, in heaven. Elatu Yodim, Shani, Hu Hashem Lekecha, I alone, I singularly, and the Lord your God. Shnamar, as the verse says, as the Aseret HaDibra begin, Anochi, Hashem Lekecha, I am the Lord your God. Perhaps also playing off of the fact that Elokecha is in singular, not Elokechem, I am all of your gods, I am your God, talking to each individual. Hashem spoke to each individual. There was one voice, God only has one voice, but it was absorbed. We have different ears, we have different minds, we have different souls, different neshamas. And so people heard it differently. And that is the paradigm of Torah study always. There's one Torah, but we are all unique. And so we understand the Torah a little bit differently from a slightly different vantage point with a slightly different twist. The Gemara records the following story. It happens to be Rabbi Levi, the same Rabbi Levi, the Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Shimon, the son of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, the codifier of the Mishnah. They're sitting at the feet of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi and studying. The Kapaski Sidra, and they finished whatever they were learning, and it was time to start something new. And Rabbi was teaching them the books of Tanakh with the interpretations, the midrashim of the sages. Levi Amar Laisu Lan Mishlei, I would like to study the book of Mishlei. Rabbi Shimon Amar, Rabbi Shimon says, Laisu Lan Tehillim, I'd like to study Tehillim. Kafi Levi, somehow this Rabbi Shimon pressured Levi to accept what he wanted, to study Tehillim. Va'ayusu Tehillim, and they brought Tehillim. And Rabbi Yehuda Nasi started teaching it. They opened it up, chapter 1, Ashrei Ha'ish. Kimatu Hacha, when they reached the verse in the first chapter, Ki'im b'toras Hashem chavso, who is the righteous one? The one whose desire is for the Torah of God, of the Lord. Parish Rabbi explained, V'amar, and he said, the ideal person is the one whose desire, whose interest is with the Torah of Hashem. Ein Adam lo me Torah. A person can only study Torah. A person should only study Torah. El mimakom shelibo chafetz. The place that his heart desires. Can't force. This text is saying you cannot force your friend Levi to learn something that he does not want to learn. That's not where he'll be most productive. That's not where he will connect. That's not what Hashem wants. We're all drawn to different areas of the Torah. We all have different interests. And the Gemara here is saying we should pursue where we are most interested. It certainly makes a lot of sense. But that's also what the Gemara is saying. Study what seems interesting to you. Study where your heart is pulled. The Gemara continues, Amar Rava, who lived several centuries later, apparently felt the need to again reaffirm this teaching. And he would tell his students, La'olam yilmod adam Torah b'makam shaliba chafetz. You should learn what you are interested in. You should learn the part of the Torah, the books, the topics that speak to you. Each person is different. Each person has different interests. Some like Tanakh, some like Halacha, some like Dikduk, some like history, some like philosophy, some like Musar. V'amar, and Rava further said he had another teaching which he went further than Rabbi Yehuda Nasi on this pasuk in the first chapter of Tehillim. V'amar, and Rava said, but Chila Nikreis al Shemo Shel Kadosh Baruch Hu. Originally, the Torah is called by God's name. It says, Ki'im b'Torat Hashem Chavso. His desire is for the Torah of God. L'basof Nikreis al Shemo. But after one studies, especially something that someone is interested in, and they think about it, and they think about how they understand it, and they have their unique spin on it, L'basof Nikreis al Shemo. Then ultimately, in the end, that piece of Torah is called by the person's name, the one who studied it. Shnemar, as the verse, that same verse concludes, B'Toras Hashem Chavso. Again, his desires for the Torah of God. U'B'Toraso, but in his Torah, in the person's Torah, Yegeh Yomam V'Layla, he meditates day and night. We all hear the Torah a little bit differently. We are all drawn to different parts of the Torah. We all have different portions in the Torah. And we all can claim different parts of the Torah to be our own. And that is where Chazal recommend us to put our energy, to put our focus. Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Hashem says, I am the Lord, your God in singular. Your God, I'm speaking to you. I know each of you hear me a little bit differently. I know each of you will study my Torah a little bit differently. And that is how I want you to approach me. That is how I want you to study my Torah. Shavuos, Zman Matan Torasenu, the time of the giving of the Torah, is a holiday for every single Jewish person, man, woman, adult, child. There's no special mitzvah of Shavuos. The way we celebrate Shavuos, the way we make the day meaningful, is by learning Torah. By learning Torah, we will not have our, at least communal overnight Tikkun Leil Shavuos. But I hope everyone will be able to find some time over Yontiv, at least over the 2 days, to study Torah. If you be studying anyways, to study a little bit extra. And to find something that will grab you, that will be meaningful to you, that will interest you, that will inspire you, that is where Masha Libcha Chafetz, what your heart desires, what you can claim to make your own Torah, Torah Scha. You'll find in this email a variety of materials, of links to different suggestions of what you can learn, guided study materials, some of which will have shiurim over the next couple of weeks to learn again together of the unique halachic questions that came up and that are coming up due to the coronavirus, links to other study guides, other materials of all areas of the Torah to read, to study, and hopefully something speaks to you. Look what looks interesting to you and print out one thing at least. If there's nothing that's interesting to you in the email, I apologize. There's so much online. You can find so much Torah in so many different places. There's so much good stuff out there. So find something. Find something to study. Find something to use to celebrate Shavuos, to make the day meaningful. And I hope it will be. I hope you're learning, and I hope the holiday will be a meaningful and enjoyable one for you. Zman Matan Toraseinu, the day the Torah was given to us. What would we be without the Torah? And we celebrate that over Shavuos. I hope everyone will have a wonderful Yontiv, yourself with your families. Good Yontiv and Chag Sameach.